Hello, everybody. Welcome back. This is the Friday news. Today is July 16th, and we're doing social and nonsense. I thought, when we were sorting the stories, I thought we had already done social as well. And I was like, did we just leave nonsense for Friday? That's probably not very good sorting, but we got social too.
We're also sponsored by Linode this week. Linode, the refreshing self-hosting.
The most orange flavored of all the Linux hosts.
It is delicious. What?
It says the most orange flavored of the Linux hosts.
Oh, yes. Well, there's a coupon below where you can get $100 of credit if you want to do some stuff with Linode. We're very thankful that they want to sponsor this awful newscast. It's very, very kind of them. You can level up, get some new skills, work in this economy. Listen, this whole work from home anywhere thing, it's the golden age. You need some skills. You know, you don't want to drive for Uber or Lyft anymore. You can go learn how to make web pages. We deal with code like that all the time. Whereas somebody that just learned CSS last week, it's fine.
Not really fine, but you got to start somewhere.
It can't be any more awful than what we deal with.
Yeah, and it might be the golden age for that, but it's kind of not a golden age for almost everything else.
No, this is the.
You drinking some balls there?
Yeah, this is the Balls Orange. And this is 2 servings per can. They're cheating because it is an ungodly amount of calories per.
What is that, 16 ounces?
Per can, yeah. 16 ounces. Ingredients, carbonated water, high fructose corn syrup, natural flavor, citric acid, yellow, number 6.
That's my favorite yellow.
Sodium benzoate as a preservative, caffeine, gum, Arabic ester gum, sunflower oil, and guarana extract.
I wonder what the sunflower oil's for.
Warning, this product contains high levels of caffeine, 102 milligrams per 16 ounces.
That's funny. On the front of the can, it says Balls Guarana, but that's the last ingredient, meaning it's the lowest amount of anything that's in there.
It's also, like, you guys probably can't see it from the angle you're at, but, like, you can see a little bit of the soda on top of the can. It's aggressively orange.
Yeah, it's like industrial waste orange. It doesn't, for some reason, it doesn't taste syrupy. I don't know how they're doing that.
Maybe just high levels of carbonation.
Maybe.
Does it taste like more like a traditional soda then?
220 calories per can. I guess that's about as much as a Coke.
Nah, Coke's more like 300, right?
Okay. So it does taste less syrupy than a Coke. That tracks.
Oh, you also going to try peanut?
Yeah, these are the hot peanuts.
Take your bets now about how many shells end up on the desk before the end of the episode.
These aren't hot at all.
Maybe it develops.
Yeah,
Look,
give it a second.
The heat index is medium.
They're Cajun nuts.
Louisiana flavor.
This is about as hot as the not hot setting at the local Indian restaurant.
This is we kind of did an unfortunate combo here with the ball soda and the nuts. It wasn't intentional, but that's what just happened.
I bet you're eating these Louisiana flavored peanuts because you're such a big Dustin Poirier fan, right? Obviously.
I don't know who that is.
Well, let's talk about some. Are you done with? You want to give a peanut review?
These taste like peanuts that have been dusted with hot salt. That's it.
Hot salt?
I'll try one in a minute, but I don't want to eat into the mic.
I think that ship has sailed, Krista.
Well,
yeah.
Listen, I try to be polite. Because some people get really upset when we eat into the mic, or if and I get it, because it is kind of annoying.
It's terrible.
All right, last one.
Well, I will introduce the first story while you two are eating peanuts into microphones. And this one, well, the headline doesn't really point it out, but obviously it's in the social media section because he is very much targeted toward the social media companies. And this is not the same as you're like, oh, well, isn't Biden doing the same thing? No, the Biden administration is going after them because they are monopolies and that kind of thing. Trump is going after them because he's angry.
Trump sues the big tech CEOs because he's been canceled. It's like, no, I have a right to participate in your platform. I don't think this is going to work out for him, but we'll see how it goes.
He wants to be reinstated on all the sudden. Now, remember that Facebook has perma-banned him with maybe a possible probation in the future. But I think Twitter has said never, right?
Right.
Trump, they point out, and Axios points out in the article, Trump, no stranger to lawsuits, but very few of them actually ever go to court. Krista, I know that one of your favorite things, and I don't like it. I find it unnerving to look at was back when Zuckerberg covered his face in a thick layer of sunscreen.
Yeah, I love that picture. I have it saved to my desktop, and then so I can post it quickly for meme discussions.
And he caught a lot of like negative feedback from that.
I think the weird was just that he just put it on so thick. Like he's using a zinc oxide sunscreen, but you can rub it in.
He's very afraid of skin cancer.
But he clearly,
so am I,
he clearly just doesn't understand how the things that he does will reflect with other people.
Yeah.
And you would think that based on that, maybe he'd be like, oh, you know what? Next time that opportunity comes up, maybe I shouldn't post something like that because I don't understand the whole thing. But no.
Here's Mark Zuckerberg. Here's how he spent his 4th of July. Prepare to cringe.
There's a video here.
And,
this was trending on Twitter, so if you're on Twitter, you might have already seen it. But
and oh boy,
yeah,
is that cringe?
Only show a few seconds of it because I'm sure it's going to get flagged. Because you just got to go. You got to go look at it.
What's weird about this whole video too is he never looks at the camera and like smiles or waves or like gives a peace sign. Nothing.
In his mind, that's Washington crossing the Delaware. That is the role that he's playing.
Who's he going over there to kill in their sleep?
Google.
Privacy. And Facebook also is very concerned about your safety and
Are they though?
and the mental health of your quote unquote friends, because they're going to ask you some questions about them.
Facebook tests prompts users to ask if they're worried that a friend is becoming an extremist. This is according to CNN Business. This is like the new McCarthy. It's like, okay, we think you're a communist, but if you can name some of your communist friends, then we'll leave you alone.
It is kind of like that, except in this case, it's the communists doing it. So they're looking for, like probably any kind of gun talk or, January 6th type of stuff. And you can rat somebody out right there from the convenience of your Facebook prompt.
Somehow this data is going to be used for the algorithm that's training everything, but garbage in, garbage out.
Now, what happens when somebody finds out that they got ratted out on Facebook and then they got, a welfare check and it ended in some bad stuff and they go and kill that person?
I would say that that's probably already happened and we don't even know it.
Well, I don't think they've rolled it out yet, but I'm sure that kind of thing.
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah, I wonder what the threshold is for extremist. I guess we'll see soon. We'll probably do a follow-up story about that.
He's a custom keyboard building extremist.
Now, I would say that one of the things that we often cite as being just an absolute misery that we're glad that we're not currently dealing with is trying to find a job in the current market.
Yes.
Because you got the AIs, you got the online stuff where they're never going to even contact you. And now you have this horror.
TikTok tests letting users apply for jobs with video resumes. About 36 companies are taking part in the pilot.
I'm imagining like they're just making you do like TikTok dances. Sheesh.
Well, TikTok, I don't think that you get prompted. You're supposed to come up with your own thing. But TikTok resumes is like this new thing.
This would make sense for Starbucks. This maybe makes a little less sense for
Does it even make sense? Like, what does this tell you about how well someone can serve coffee?
Yeah.
Literally nothing. I guess you could like make coffee from your house.
I don't think it's about that. I think this is just you proving that you're like upbeat and happy and friendly and
it's like,
that
tells me nothing about how well you can do your job.
Yeah, well, perception is reality, Krista. You got to be perceived.
I want to opt out. Let me out.
You cannot. I mean, I'm sure that at some companies, the decision will be made is like, well, these two candidates are pretty well, they're right on the same level, but this one has a TikTok resume.
Yeah, look how happy he is. Look how well he can floss. Is flossing still relevant in this year?
We should go with this one. He did a really good lip sync of Taylor Swift in this one, so we're going to give him the edge.
We definitely are going to hire the sea shanty guy.
And another feature on TikTok that I imagine you two are also unfamiliar with this.
I read this when we first did Level 1. This is what I was talking about with the book thing.
Yeah, but you chose a book that's...
Yeah, I tried to read it.
Your book...
I tried to give it like a good college try, but it was
another title.
It didn't have to be that book. It could have been any book.
Another title for the book that you chose, How to Be Autistic.
Yeah, I was kind of like waiting for more applicable stuff to come in that book, and then it never quite happened.
And I was surprised by that because you love the whole like Captain Kirk Kobayashi Maru ideology, and that book was like, no.
Yeah.
No, you are a computer, and you will only make computer decisions.
Yeah.
The book we're talking about is Algorithms to Live By.
We could revisit that, though.
Yeah.
We just got to think of something a little better.
Well, it's fine. It doesn't have to be that book. I just like that book.
Yeah, sorry, we're
Now
kind
we're
of dogpiling you.
We're
Anyway.
gonna get so many bad book recommendations in the comments. Anyway, you weren't familiar with this, right? I'd never heard of it, but apparently it is massive.
Yeah, TikTok is taking the book industry by storm, and retailers are taking note. Book Talk has sent old books back to the top of the bestseller list and helped launch the careers of new authors. Videos with the Book Talk hashtag have been viewed at a collective of 12.6 billion times.
It's basically like a book club. People talk about the books they really like, and then if enough people get traction with that, then your book
Or why they
comes
don't
up.
like them, which is perfectly fine.
But I think it's unlike a book club because it's, if not already, I think it probably is already, but if not already, it is about to be deluged with marketing.
Yeah.
It's about to be ruined.
It's not going to be organic anymore at all.
At Level 1, we've managed to maintain our small size and awesomeness thanks to sponsors like Linode. Check out that link below. And also our Flowplane and Patreon stuff.
Store.level1text.com.
It's a little...
Consume.
It's a mindset that we like to call integrity through obscurity. If you don't know who we are, you can't corrupt us.
Excellent.
You can't sell out if nobody's buying.
Thanks, Linode.
Bumble. I'm not familiar with Bumble. I think Bumble is like the Sadie Hawkins of online dating. I think only the girls are allowed
To select?
Yeah. So it must be pretty popular, and now they're looking to branch out.
Bumble is opening a restaurant to help people date in real life again. Okay.
But it doesn't interface with Bumble, the app.
Yeah, no, it's just a place to go.
It's basically just a restaurant.
Yeah, and that seems like a horrible idea too, because restaurants have very bad margins. Like,
But
why
maybe
would you invest in that?
do you assume that everybody at the Bumble restaurant is single and looking?
What if somebody just wandered in there by accident? It's like, sir, you can't be in here. The app doesn't know that you're here.
You have a ring on your finger? Get out.
Can I just get a grilled cheese? Are you DTF? And we often talk about how, we look at the horrible Hong Kong, China situation, and we're like, that's bad. We should condemn that. Our leaders are like, that's terrible.
But we have to talk about it in coded terminology.
Yeah.
And then all of our big tech companies come along and they're like, I don't know, it seems reasonable. I mean, that seems perfectly fine to us.
Reuters is reporting that, the platform that we're on now takes down Xinjiang videos, forcing rights groups to seek alternatives.
Xinjiang, I don't know how you pronounce that. If you don't know, that's where a certain subculture lives.
That's where a certain source of the world's kidneys comes from.
And labor that they don't want to give.
Now
cheap iPhones.
Now you might be thinking, what excuse could this company possibly give for such terrible behavior? Well, it turns out one of the common things that they do in these videos is they hold up their Communist Party ID card and they're like, this is who I am to prove that I'm related to this person who has disappeared. They're missing. We want to find them. This is who we are. And the company says that's doxing, even though it's their own ID.
I'm sure that being flagged by an army of bots from there also has nothing to do with it, because that's the thing that happens.
Yeah, I'm sure there's a lot of ways to fall on that list.
Yeah.
So I guess don't do that. But then again, you want to try to find your missing family members. I get it. Unfortunately, I think they're probably... Parts of them are doing great. But only certain parts. Twitter is looking at some new features. Wendell, I always default to you. You're really the only Twitter user here. How appealing is this to you?
Twitter considers new features for tweeting only to friends under different personas and more. There are a lot of marketing companies that, tweet under brands, and maybe that would be useful.
Well, I was going to say that would actually be useful for our use case because I monitor the Level 1 Twitter and mine.
Yeah.
And so it'd be nice to be able to switch between them a little quicker.
Are you not already allowed to do that?
You have to log out and log back in. It's not like YouTube where you have like a drop down where you can like select which account you want to look at.
But that constantly gets people in trouble.
Yeah. You would have to pay closer attention to what account you were tweeting from.
Even more than, I love my new Samsung, tweeted from my iPhone.
Yeah. When I'm thinking about the guys, you remember all the politicians who would tweet something and then there would be a reply would be like, oh my God, I agree with this so much. And they would forget to log out for the alt account. That'll happen a lot more with these features.
Excellent. In fact, I think Twitter should go ahead and preemptively run that database and be like, all of these came from the same computer and IP address.
That could be a feature. Pay $5 a month and we'll make sure that never happens. Well, Norway has a very amazing law. I think this is it's kind of overreaching, but at the same time, I kind of like it because it is. We live in a world where, again, perception is reality, except none of it is real. But the one big thing that echoed with me that I was completely unaware of in this article: Norway has a king, and the king has to validate all the laws.
Neat.
Who knew that?
Norway has a law now that forces influencers to label retouched photos on Instagram. The new law will require advertisements where a body's shape, size, or skin has been retouched. It's going to be labeled.
I wonder how many influencers don't realize that they're being filtered sometimes. Probably not very many.
I think most of them probably do it, right? I mean,
most probably do, but like sometimes you open those apps and like they just automatically apply like a beautification filter or something where it like erases your pores. Do you think there are any that are ignorant?
No, they know exactly what's going on. They have, like, they're very, very good at all that stuff. Most of the popular ones. Yeah, for sure.
Instagram reality is a strange subreddit that's full of people who have altered themselves so much in their photos that like they don't even look human anymore.
I'm constantly seeing headlines though where it's like, oh, such and such Kardashian released a like lightly edited pic and everybody's celebrating. It's like, oh, it's so brave. You didn't erase all of your flaws.
And like the flaws aren't even that noticeable to begin with. It's just like what? It's a weird world.
Well, Instagram, at least, has such powerful filters that they can cover you in tattoos or other kinds of interesting things. There's a lot of choices. A lot of people want, just like tattoos, people want all kinds of different things. But certain people keep coming back to the same ones. That could be a problem.
Instagram users call out platform over filter featuring a swastika tattoo.
And at first I was like, maybe they're using it like, in the ancient religious way, and then you scroll down and you look at it's in the video, but it's not that at all. It's like encased in like an Indian headdress, and it's like I don't think that those cultures are even a little bit related.
They call it, I think it was called old school or something like that. Yeah, old school.
Was that built by AI? Because it got trolled. If so,
by old school, do we mean like early 40s?
Yeah, I don't.
So they're looking to get rid of that, but they still hadn't at the time of this. Anna Kaplan, New York State Senator, wrote her angry blog about it.
What a bizarre thing to not catch earlier before deploying it.
Yeah, it's a weird one. You think that there could possibly be a software developer who doesn't know the context of that symbol in the world right now?
No.
I mean, it's pretty ubiquitous.
Yeah.
You've seen it.
I feel like that they would have gotten a memo about it, if nothing else.
Yeah. Some code review.
Yeah. It's like, by the way.
Well, you know me, I can't pass up a black hole story. Now
this one's neat.
Yeah, we're constantly learning that black holes have new abilities. It's like they're in an RPG and they keep leveling up. Yeah, and they're getting more and more powerful. All toward the singular goal of destroying Krista and her family.
Yes.
And now
they're coming for my dog.
This might be the most powerful feature they've ever developed.
We have an altruistic black hole, or cluster of black holes. A cluster full of black holes may be spitting out stars. So there is an area of this globular cluster, if I understood this correctly, where there should be a bunch of black holes. We're pretty sure there's black holes there. But there's a steady trail of stars emanating away from the black holes. And so what we think is that there's a bunch of black holes that are together, and every so often a star gets sort of caught in the gravitational well of the black holes, but it's such that it ejects the black hole. It's like it slingshots around the sun like they do in Star Trek, but they've slingshotted around the black hole cluster, and so it's just this trail of stars, and it's not happening super quickly, but it's not happening super slowly either. So you end up basically with a line of stars, which is sort of unusual.
So you say you think it's a good thing. I think it's just a ranged attack.
Yeah, the black holes are just straight spitting fire.
They're firing stars off at Krista.
Yeah. That reminds me a little bit of Snake, where you get like some of the characters who can do like the rotating things and stuff that follow the snake.
Well, I've got some bad news, Krista. The Andromeda Galaxy is on a collision course with the Milky Way.
Well, I'll be dead by then, though.
And they don't have enough mages on their snake right now.
Yeah.
They're never going to make it past level 24.
Check out our Snake RX article. Is it Snake RX? Yeah.
I never know, like, one mage, two mages. Maybe I need like the dual mage abilities. I don't know.
The all blue team was pretty strong when we did that.
You know that I think they've softened it quite a bit because I'm at +6 now.
Oh.
I'm max snake. 12 is max snake, I think.
What if he's looking at the analytics? It's like, wow, nobody. Okay, this should make it easier.
Level 24 is the filter.
I liked it when it was ruthlessly hard. Well, we live in a world now where we have fake meat, and that is kind of just commonplace, really. You can get fake meat almost anywhere now, but it's almost always beef. I think there's fake chicken too, right?
Yes.
I've not tried the fake chicken.
I haven't tried fake chicken either.
But a lot of that, I think, probably would be a little unsettling if we knew exactly how it was made, right?
Yeah.
They don't really want you seeing in the back, except this one. This company does want you to see.
San Francisco is getting the world's first cultured sushi tasting room where fish is grown in a lab. So this is grown tuna.
Is that just a wacky plate?
Yes.
Oh my God, it's so pretentious.
Is that a plate or a shell? It looks like it might be part of a shell.
Oh yeah, it could be a shell.
That's ridiculous. So they say that this is not a restaurant. This is a tour, like an experience. So you're going to go and see exactly how this garbage is made. Then they're going to give you a little piece of it.
This is so good, I could definitely eat it. ...
What's it? I wonder what the base. What's the base material? What's it grown from?
Well,
It's meat. It's just grown.
You got to take the tour, Krista.
I'm not going all the way out there for that.
What I want to know is this vegan? Like,
Yeah, I would say so, because it's not. I guess if it's made from like a plant material.
I don't think so, because some people are moral vegans and some people are health vegans, and this would not be a health vegan.
This would be health.
If it was grown from cells forcibly extracted from a fish, that's probably not okay. But what if it was grown from cells that a fish naturally shed?
But that's only if you care about the fish's point of view. If you're purely in it because you think eating vegetables is better for you, this is meat, right?
Yeah. Interesting.
I did see that a study pretty much figured out, animal protein. If you're trying to build muscle, animal protein is the only way to go.
Yeah. I don't think anyone's made the argument that
Oh my God, Krista, there's going to be so many vegans that correct you in the comments.
Well, I don't think anyone would argue that meat's probably a better source, but there are sources that are vegetarian that would work as well as protein.
But
sources.
no, that's what they were studying. It's like a non-trivial improvement.
Yeah.
Just if you have meat. This is a bizarre article. I love the animal articles, although sad animal articles do get in there a lot. I feel like we need to still appreciate and pour out a little balls for this gentleman. I don't understand why they did it. It was wrong, and it makes me sad.
Peacock gunned down after Craigslist ad took out a hit on the bird. Basically, there was a peacock around a Florida neighborhood because, of course
it's
this
Florida.
is Florida. And they said, there's a peacock that's wandering the neighborhood. It drives me insane. They can be a little territorial.
And they're very noisy.
And so I was just like, well, somebody please kill this thing. Somebody did. It suffered.
Shot it.
Yeah.
Now, they have identified the man who posted the ad asking for someone to kill the bird. But he just there's nothing illegal here. Stop, leave me alone. Is it illegal to go on Craigslist?
To put a hit out on a bird.
Yeah. I don't know if he was offering anything in return for the death of the bird.
Here's a question that's kind of only slightly related. Can you eat peafowl?
Yeah.
Peacocks?
Well, I don't know about peacocks, but remember when Venezuela had their little socialist thing? They ate the flamingos.
Oh.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess you can eat. I wonder if it's a choice edible, I guess. Is that good meat?
I don't think so.
No.
I think it's
If you've eaten a peacock, let us know.
I think it's kind of dark and oily.
Mm.
My grandparents had a peacock that would hang around their house. It was very ill-tempered.
I don't think I've ever met a good-tempered peacock.
Also, I don't think you get a whole lot of meat from peacock.
I mean, you get plenty out of a chicken. Peacocks are bigger than chickens.
But I don't think it's like you're not going
Maybe not as
to
good quality.
Engagement challenge.
Yeah, if you've eaten a peacock,
Peacock
we need to know.
butchers. This headline,
It's horrific.
but it's not what you think.
At least it's not Florida.
This is accurate, but we use so many different interpretations of this word. It actually, they never touched the whale.
Yeah.
So,
Kitesurfer charged with molesting a whale and her calf in South Australia. So this is Australia, not Florida, and it doesn't mean what you think it means.
turns out these are really, really protected because I think it's because that's the Japanese whaling.
They eat, yeah.
So you're not allowed to get anywhere near them. So she was buzzing them in her kite surfing, and that was considered to be molestation. Okay. Yeah.
The old version of the word, like she was bothering the whale.
Exactly.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, that's not so bad. That's kind of like a feel good story, right? Like it's not as bad as you thought it was.
But I don't know if the whales liked it.
Probably not.
But it's better than the alternative that article headline suggested.
And the whales have learned to avoid, human mechanisms, and maybe they'll avoid the whaling ship next time.
And if that whale had, flapped its tail up and smashed her, and she died, would we kill that whale?
No.
You don't think so? We kill bears and stuff when they do that. I guess they eat people.
Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah, bears kind of they repeat the behavior. If a whale did it, I don't think whales would do it on purpose.
I don't know if I trust a whale not to reoffend. Serial whale slapping. This one is another terrible animal story, and you have to wonder why. Especially because I don't think these are particularly rare in this area.
Is this Florida again?
They're actually banned from. They're a nuisance, and they're banned from cultivation and some other things.
But you can kill it. Remember because you always hear stories about when it gets too cold down there,
Yeah.
they freeze and fall out of the trees and destroy people's cars.
Man arrested after police say he tried to sell duct-taped iguanas from an SUV. So they couldn't even really get him on much of anything. It's just a misdemeanor, and it's like it probably would have been okay if he wasn't duct-taped. But you're not supposed to breed them, and they're a nuisance, and you're not supposed to do anything like that. So
22 because there were 22 iguanas. 22 misdemeanor counts of animal cruelty. Online records indicate it may not be the first time he's tried to do this.
Wow.
He came back for more. How much would you pay for an iguana?
I think they're considered like an exotic pet, so they're probably not cheap.
an exotic pet that's also a nuisance.
No, but they're...
Probably people release them.
I think what he did, he went to Miami where they're everywhere and then brought them back up north where they're not everywhere. So it would have to be cheap enough that driving to Miami is more expensive.
Yeah.
Getting your own. It's like with Christmas trees. You can bond with your family. You'll have a much better time if you go and get your own iguanas. Don't buy from an iguana farm.
Just steal them off the streets of Miami, as the good Lord intended.
Often we get these stories about children who have severe mental problems, and it leads to great tragedy, and you have to wonder, how did this person get to this point? There had to be other signs, right? Why is this always falling through the cracks?
Devil-packed British teen found guilty of murdering sisters in the bid to win lottery. Not his sisters, just two random sisters. This is a Reuters story. But he was living with his mom, and they tracked him down because he didn't have a lot of experience with murdering. Definitely some mental issues.
I think it was his first murders. So he'd made a pact. The name of this we're paywalled.
He'd written a contract out, and the reason they know that he'd made a pact with the darker powers is because they found said pact written in blood in his room at his house.
But the name
mom's house.
The name of the demon was so great. I can't remember what it was. It was like 4 names.
It was like Luciferus was one of them.
So the agreement that we assume he just made up in his own head was if he killed 6 women every 6 months, he would win the lottery.
Yeah, he didn't.
How long does that go on, though? He didn't define the terms of the contract.
He didn't make it very far.
I mean, we assume this was his first 6-month installment, right? And he was 2 in. And the cops were like, yeah, we're absolutely 100% confident if we didn't lock him up, he was going to keep killing.
Yeah.
Because he wanted that money. And he did buy lottery tickets. He bought 3, which I feel like doesn't show much faith in the demon. We've seen this story before, right?
Yes.
It was cocaine and another kind of animal.
Yeah.
But They seem to just be rehashing the entire thing.
Methamphetamine in waterways may be turning trout into addicts. So they did a control group where they did a control test, and the trout would choose the methamphetamine tainted water every time.
I didn't understand how they give them a choice between two kinds of water. They're already in water.
Well, it's probably a source. So like you've got a source of this water or a source of that water. Which way are you going to go?
Okay, I see what you're saying. They missed. They should have added a speech bubble to this picture.
Help me.
I can't say what I think the funniest one would be, but it would be the fish offering to do something to get money for more methamphetamine. This is rugby, right?
I just saw the headline.
I believe so.
It's Australia. I'm fairly confident this is rugby. And
Perhaps someone in the comments can explain it to us.
if you've ever watched rugby, a big part of rugby is everybody just being in a big pile, like
the dog pile.
just fighting and wrestling for that ball. And it is well known, and this in the NFL you hear stories about this too. Maybe not so much anymore, but back in the old days, the Pirates, Raiders, the LA Raiders were famous for this kind of stuff.
Huddersfield Edwards gets a 10-match ban for inserting finger into opponent.
So if I were saying to you, here's a man on the ground, and he has something that you desperately want, how do you get him to let go of it most efficiently?
Not that.
Not that. Yeah, my mind wouldn't go there.
I'd say that's super effective.
Not that.
His teammates were also cited for grabbing the testicles. Rugby does not sound like a sport I would like to play.
No. I have some friends who played it, and like it was rough, but I don't ever heard anything like that from
Well, but
their
this is
huddles.
on a professional level.
Yeah.
You know, there's a lot at stake here.
Was that a pro move?
Yeah, only
Well,
pros.
He is a pro. He's going to be banned for 10 games.
Was that a whole season, basically?
I don't know.
Oh, probing pros, that could be a title. I'm going to forget that, but
And if you'll recall, was that the beginning of the year when they rolled this limitation out?
Last
I remember,
year.
yeah.
Yeah, because they did I guess maybe because of the pandemic was a big part of it. All the kids were sitting at home gaming at all hours, and the Communist Party was like, we need them studying. We need them learning AI because we're behind in that. And they made a bunch of rules. Some of them got around it, but not anymore.
Tencent turns to facial recognition to root out late-night child gamers. You gotta, you're playing on your phone's got a camera there. Let's turn it on and see your face. If you look like a kid, the game doesn't work anymore.
Now, how about the next TikTok trend is makeup tutorials on how to trick the camera into thinking that you're 35.
What if it's done by voice, too? Then people like me get kicked off. Because I get a lot of, are you a 12-year-old boy? No.
God, imagine you're addicted to, whatever the big online game is, and this comes down, that has to be crushing.
Yeah.
I mean, it's probably good for you overall, right?
Yeah.
Maybe not if you're going to become a pro gamer, though. You destroyed my career.
Or if you've done all your schoolwork for the day and you don't get done till late, and it's like, I'm gonna fire up and just do a quick match of my favorite online game, and you get kicked off immediately.
Right, yeah. Now, in this one, I was not able to find what their reasoning for this was. Did you ever understand what the government's...
No clue.
Like, there was never a good reason given for this. I've got to think it's just a high-ranking...
I would expect better of CNN.
A high-ranking pervert, right?
Yeah.
Maybe they didn't want to say that.
Yeah.
But there's tactically, this is only bad.
Yeah. Ukrainian army's decision to make female soldiers march in high heels sparks a backlash. Gee, I wonder why. This is in the Ukraine.
And look at the size of that heel.
Yeah, it's pretty good. It's not like a kitten heel.
How many miles do you think you could do in heels, Krista?
Maybe one, if I was lucky.
You're not a big heel wearer, are you?
I used to be more so, but they're just not comfortable for long periods of time. I don't mind like a chunky heel, but I don't like the real thin ones.
Also, isn't it true that in most cases, fatigues are designed to just be kind of frumpy and take away Like you're all supposed to be this shapeless.
Well, yeah, you want to be loose too, because if it's hot, you're gonna get the swamp ass. You don't want something clinging to all your curves.
These pants,
They don't look like
they look a little tight to me.
They're gonna be getting some swamp ass, and then you're gonna have a bunch of female soldiers angry because they got the swamp ass. Unfortunate.
They look great though. You can't take that away from them.
I'm sure that's why they signed up. You're like, you know what? Everyone loves a woman in uniform.
Also, it's in Ukraine. So not only are they marching with heels, but they have this constant specter of Russian invasion.
Yeah.
And what are you going to do about that? What are you going to do up against
Throwing
those?
your heels at them.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like a second bayonet. You can, hit them in the eye. With
Two
the
of
heel.
them.
A heel will work pretty well as a hammer. Ask me how I know.
But you probably couldn't split wood with it.
No. It works fine to hang pictures, though.
The other themed story that I've been loving putting in week after week is the Canadian housing market. And you think that because like the one there was a dead cat inside of it. What was that going for? Like 500,000?
Yeah.
And this one is considerably cheaper, but the caveat is much larger.
Vacant lot in Ontario could be a steal at only $99,000 if only it wasn't underwater. It's 7 acres. So they got a picture. No, not that picture. The yellow picture.
You want to see the plat?
Yeah, there you go. Look at that lot. That lot is enormous. You just need a little bit of fill dirt and you'll be all set. Or some stilts.
Now, in the current modern belief system, do we expect the water levels to go down?
No.
Oh, maybe the opposite?
Yeah. Maybe that's what already happened with this lot.
Maybe I could sell my basement to somebody from Canada.
It looks like it should be less underwater than it is from the shoreline on the rest of the plats, but, I don't know.
Weird toys is another recurring theme. We see a lot of toys. Usually it's the battery running out and people interpreting battery running out voice for something that it isn't. But in this case, it appears to be...
They uploaded the wrong file to the master.
Yeah, the actual thing.
Horrified mom finds dancing cactus toy swearing and rapping about cocaine in Polish. So... this was not in Poland. This was somewhere else. But it turns out that, that rapper's song was uploaded to this cactus accidentally. And then they mass-produced it accidentally.
How angry are you if you're the rapper there?
No, he's weighed in. He's very angry. And he's looking at a lawsuit.
Yeah.
It's always weird.
It's weird he's got a Raiders hat on.
When foreign music talks about drugs and sex and stuff like that. Yeah. And you don't realize it when you're listening to it.
Oh, yeah, and you're just like, what a good beat. And you think it's like all upbeat and happy, and then you look up the translation.
It's like, oh, no, it's horrifying.
Speaking of horrifying.
Yeah, but not as horrifying as this. This is, I think we've talked about this before.
This is the first joke in Futurama. When Fry gets to the future and he's like...
Well, we've made jokes about this.
Yeah. Well, it's a common joke, but it's in the past, it's always been a joke of like, well, they'll never be able to do that, so we can joke about it. But now...
Nightmare scenario, alarm, as advertisers seek to plug into our dreams. Coors sought to steer unconscious minds to thoughts of beer. Scientists have called for curbs on targeted dream incubation.
I want out.
So the Coors company is experimenting with this. You watch a video before bed, and then they play sounds. But they talk about some of the other studies that were more clinical about this. The most impressive one to me is if you were trying to stop smoking, they would put you to sleep and start to waft cigarette smoke into the room, and then rotten eggs on top of that.
Mm.
And it would sour people. They would smoke 30% less.
Huh.
So if they can do that, imagine what they can do.
We're going to be incepted. That's what's going to happen.
What would you try to make your dream inception make you do?
If I buy things, that's what they want.
No, I mean if you could do it to yourself.
Oh. Make me believe I was a morning person. Because I'm not, but I wish I was.
I'd have to try to give up sugar.
Ooh, yeah, that would be a good one too.
Oh, well.
That's just, okay. Yeah, that would be nice. But it's just so good. It's so good.
I think we've seen this story before as well, but it's new. July 6th, so I guess they're rehashing it. you are in a weird situation here, I suppose, but it's not their fault.
Parents ask Amazon to change the name of Alexa speaker after kids with the same name get bullied. You can make it respond to other things.
Yeah, but you're never
But
going to.
people don't, yeah.
And they point out in one situation, they actually moved the little girl to a new school.
Yeah.
But what does that change?
People are still going to know
Yeah.
Alexa is Amazon.
She's still. Why not change her name?
Yeah, or have her go by like Alexis or something.
Makes no
Or
sense.
just Alex.
I think no matter what choice you choose there's potential to be scarred for life. So
Well, I feel like that's something you just kind of get over. Like if you don't react to it, kids are going to move on pretty quick because it's not that good of an insult. But
Or what you do after you get bullied for being Alexa, you go home and you get one of the Amazon boxes that's in your house, right? And then you bring it back to school and you're like, oh, hey, I got you something. And when they look down the box, you punch your hand through it and smash them on the nose.
got him.
that is one way to solve the problem, yes.
And say, that was prime delivery, bitch.
You wake up and choose violence.
Now, I often feel kind of bad because I am essentially a jailer for my little cats. They want to go outside. Don't think for a minute they don't. They're afraid of it at first, but they would love to explore. But I can't let them because there's fleas and ticks and roads and stuff like that.
Kids
But
are bad.
is that wrong? Am I giving them the best life? I don't know. I think about it, and these stories make me think even more.
Owners face fines as Council on Australia introduces a 24-hour cat curfew. When allowed to roam, cats are at a much higher risk of illness and injury, Mayor Lisa Cooper said in a statement. I thought it was because they were wreaking havoc with the local flora and
Birds.
fauna.
Yeah,
because,
they kill stuff for fun.
Yeah.
They definitely do that.
You know, it's funny, though. You talk about being the jailer for your cats. Mom's cat was
Oh,
always
yeah.
an outdoor
Yeah.
cat, and it wants no part of the outside at this point.
Oh, that's interesting. Yeah. See, I always said that about my cats. Like, I wish they would have experienced some trauma in their early lives because they're
You
so
got possums
spoiled.
around your house? Just
Yeah, let them hang out with. No, you've got skunks around your house, right? Or at least you used
Foxes and skunks. Yeah,
Yeah.
lots of
that's
foxes.
probably enough to traumatize them.
So I don't know. A lot of people push back and they're like, this should only apply to new kittens so that they never have to experience the outside, so they don't have to lose something.
Yeah, Mom's cat does not want any part of the outside, so.
Maybe I should just put them out for a week.
to. Hope they come
What
back.
are you doing? And then they come back and they're just like,
Do you appreciate the greenies now? Do you like having your soft cat beds? I don't understand. So this is presumably a TV show,
yep.
but what more could there be to this TV show than just what you would think reading the name?
Well, is it kind of like Wipeout? Did you ever watch Wipeout, where it was like an obstacle course in the water?
Oh, okay.
Maybe it's like that.
Like the ninja challenge thing?
Yeah, yeah.
I was kind of
Yeah.
hoping he was like Japanese Ultimate Warrior, where.
I think we're all talking about the same thing with different names.
Okay.
No, I'm thinking of a different show.
The thing
This
where
one's
it
just
would,
for comedy.
It
But
would knock you off the thing and
Right,
you'd
yeah.
slip and fall.
But it's
same genre.
anyway, I don't understand how this show is formatted, but I do know they did not take enough precaution, Krista, with the water. It was Giardia?
Giardia.
Yeah, it was oh boy, was there a lot of it.
Ultimate Slip Inside premiere delayed following quote-unquote explosive diarrhea outbreak on set, according to this report in the Fox News channel. So, if you're sick, don't go to a water park because the water in the water park will communicate the disease.
And
They should have enough. I would hope that they would have enough like chlorine and bleach in the water to
We don't have that kind of budget.
keep
But-
that from
Reality show.
happening here. But,
But I don't, is this a water park or is this just something they popped up?
probably
this is
something
just-
they popped up.
Yeah, so they're not taking the proper.
they did not bleach the water effectively.
The one that really stuck in my mind, you remember when that cruise ship broke down? Oh, the descriptions from that cruise ship, like that was just hell on earth.
It's no wonder those people's Fitbits are reporting that they've gone one foot in the grave.
Because here's a crazy thing about cruise ships that episode taught us. The plumbing on cruise ships is not gravity driven. It's pump driven. And when the pumps are out of power, yeah.
That's bad.
There are benefits to being on septic. Similar kind of thing. You're less likely, if something were to go down, it's less likely to back up on
You mean if your cruise ship is not connected to the municipal water supply?
Well, hey, that's the end of the episode. You should check out the Linode link.
What did you give these a
Those are great.
Yeah, those.
I want to eat more of them, but I didn't want to chew in the mic anymore.
These are a great snack.
They're good. They're definitely like subtly spicy, but not bad.
Yeah, it is a very sort of subtle, lingering spiciness. It's quite good. Thank you again.
I kind of want one, but I also don't want to start my eating
The kidney
window
stones.
right now.
Yeah, kidney stones also. Well, you can take some with you.
All right, Krista.
Bye.